letter A, and today we're going to present our greenhouse effect. So these are the members who work together to make our greenhouse possible. So we have here is me, Christine L. Morales, Rudette B. Martin, and Jillian Melendres. Introduction. The greenhouse effect is the process where gases from Earth's atmosphere trap heat from the sun. It is important because it keeps our planet warm. Without the greenhouse effect, the Earth would feel too cold, and if there's too much greenhouse, it could lead to global warming or climate change. The purpose of our greenhouse is to experiment how a simple greenhouse structure can trap heat, and our goal is to hit the 45 degrees Celsius to 48 degrees Celsius. The greenhouse effect is important because it doesn't benefit. It benefits us students, especially the farmers and the gardeners, because they use the greenhouse to grow their plants. And our mini greenhouse is costs very little, and because we use inexpensive materials, and not only inexpensive materials, but because we use recyclable materials such as the plastic we can find at home, and the plastic bottles, and so on. Science behind this is the greenhouse effect. When sunlight enters, the heat gets trapped inside, making the inside warmer. And lastly, the process understanding the greenhouse effect is crucial because it helps our Earth to become more habitable. Materials. So here are the materials we use in making our greenhouse effect. So first we have the young peace lily, which is our plant, and we have the 1.5 coke liter, and we have the cutter, glue gun sticks, popsicle sticks, plastic cover, recyclable plastic bag, random tray from the house, and soil and pebbles. Procedure. So first things first, as you can see, we cut the 1.5 liter coke. We cut the 1.5 liter coke in half, and on the next step, we made holes at the bottom of the bottle so to allow water to drain. And third, we place the plants. We place the soil inside, then we put the plant. And fourth, we use a tray from home, and as you can see, we marked the four sides of the tray so we could put the popsicle sticks inside. And then, yes. And then on the fifth step, we cover this structure with plastic wrap to trap the heat inside. And also we added pebbles, and that's it. Finally, we can now place our mini greenhouse outside for observation. Analysis and observation. So this is our chart, and on September 16, 2025 at 11:25 a.m. we got the 32.4 degrees Celsius, and during the afternoon we have the 39.0 degrees Celsius, and on the evening we have 38.3 degrees Celsius, and the total of average internal temperature is 36.6 degrees Celsius. So how did we get the internal temperature? So in order to get the average internal temperature, you're gonna have to add the temperatures you got, and then after getting the results, you're gonna have to divide them into 3, and that's how you get the average internal temperature. And on September 17, 2025, during the morning, we have the 37.3 degrees Celsius, and on the afternoon, we have the 32.4 degrees Celsius, and on the evening, we have 38.0 degrees Celsius, and we have the average internal temperature, which is 37.9 degrees Celsius. We failed, so as you can see, in these days, we failed to get the goal It was because the weather that around that time was gloomy, and we were not consistent in checking the temperature. And on September 27, finally our last checking of the temperature, we finally we're finally able to hit the target, which is the 45 degrees Celsius. And during the afternoon, around 12:56 p.m., we got the 45.2 degrees Celsius. And because around that time, the weather has finally become sunny, and so we were able to get the internal temperature of 41.3 degrees Celsius. Observation and analysis. Did your greenhouse reach the target temperature of 45 to 48 degrees Celsius? Yes, on September 27, around 12:56 p.m., the greenhouse reached 45.2 degrees Celsius, which falls within the target range of 45 to 48 degrees Celsius. What materials design features were most effective? The most effective materials design that we use are pebbles, plastic, and soil. Why? Because the pebbles and the soils help to trap the heat, while maintain the heat, while the plastic helps to trap the heat. What if only one temperature reading was obtained? Well, if there was only one temperature reading obtained, we might not be able to show the true performance of our greenhouse effect. And the temperature also vary depending on the time of the day, so multiple readings help identify the peak temperature and overall consistency. What challenges did you encounter? So one of the challenges that we encountered during our observation and analysis, and also while making the IPBA, we failed to be consistent on checking the temperature. Sometimes we forget, and sometimes we'll have to remind each other. And also, excuse me. Also, our group communication our group lacks communication, and yeah. What design aspects help achieve forward towards the goal? The sealed plastic wrap and recyclable bottle structure help trap sunlight and prevent heat from escaping, which made the inside warmer than the outside. Conclusion. So, what did your group learn? We learned that greenhouse is not just theory, it's real. And also our group learned that the design and materials of a greenhouse is important, and it plays a big role in controlling the temperature. Also, we saw that transparent coverings allow sunlight to enter, while the enclosed structure traps the heat inside, which raises the temperature. How does this relate to real life? This relates to real life because the greenhouse effect is similar to how the Earth's atmosphere works. Greenhouse gases trap heat in the same way our greenhouse did, and this is connected to climate change. If too much heat is trapped, it leads to global warming, which shows us why protecting the environment is important. Group reflection. So, in our not all members were able to perform the rules effectively and consistently. However, I love their enthusiasm during the making of our project. Also, our group was able to communicate properly during face-to-face class, during face-to-face activity, but through online platforms, we lack communication, and we struggled to connect with each other. The members were generally helpful throughout the process of creating the IPBA, but during the presentation, participation and effort seemed to be lacking. What worked well in our collaboration was the way we supported each other. Yes, we supported each other during the making of the greenhouse effect, but that was only one time. But and we were able to collaborate and communicate through face-to-face, but through online platforms, there seemed to be lack of performance and efforts, and they seem to be forgetting the responsibilities. But even so, um, we were able to work together as a team during face-to-face classes. If I could repeat the activity, I would improve our group's communication, especially online, so that everyone stays updated and involved. I would also encourage each member to take more responsibility during the presentation, since equal participation would make our output stronger and more organized. Lastly, I will make sure to record the temperature consistently. And this is our where we got our references in creating our presentation. Thank you.